One thing that shocked me and surprises many Americans visiting Germany for the first time is how many memorials are found around Germany for the fallen soldiers during World War I and II. This is in nearly every city and village across Germany. Now, in the US, there are debates all the time over whether or not certain statues or memorials should remain standing because of controversy over who those memorials might be honoring and what they stood for. So when I arrived in Germany and found that nearly every village and town we went to has memorials to German soldiers, I was initially very surprised to find them. What was initially shocking about them is the fact that these often have soldiers on them that are wearing a uniform that we as Americans just associate in our minds with the enemy and the bad guys. In a way, it was initially surprising to see a monument with this imagery that felt almost like it was honoring a horrific regime that was responsible for murdering millions, regardless of the true historical connections to this form of uniform.
I'm currently standing in Garmisch-Partenkirchen, and here's an example of one that I find really interesting, that it's worded as "your heroes," actually.
From what I've observed, Germans also seem to have a bit of internal conflict over how to deal with issues like this. For example, there are many street names around Germany that are named after people who had Nazi connections. In cities across the country, there is a debate about whether or not they should be renamed, with many arguing both ways. In Schwäbisch Gmünd, right next to the column honoring the German soldiers of the World Wars, they have a plaque that leads you through questions about this memorial and whether or not it should exist, which I find is another fascinating way in which Germans seem to address their past and show that they are willing to have discussions about it. On it, there are questions like, is it still appropriate to commemorate fallen German soldiers of World War I and II today? Or can it be stated with absolute certainty that among these soldiers to be commemorated, none partook in war crimes? So again, I want to know from my audience, what do you guys think should happen to memorials or monuments and street names in Germany with potential Nazi connections?